our election edition of Film in Minnesota. We're going to get a little political today, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, we're going to talk about film, though.
Yeah. This is going to be a good time. Thank you for tuning in. Please stay tuned in. We appreciate it. It's going to be a good time, guys.
They've all switched it off.
Yeah, the moment I said election.
They said political. I'm so out of here.
Yeah,
but I'm Alan Tracy.
Crazy lady anyway. I'm Rahana Power.
And this is Film in Minnesota, not politics in Minnesota.
No, not at all. Some of the...
Do you know, I had never heard of them until about a year ago.
You shut your face.
And my boyfriend... Really? Yeah, my boyfriend got mad at me because he started talking about him at some point, and I was like, who the hell's that?
Legitimately get mad at you.
Well, no, but he was like, he wasn't mad, he was disappointed. And I could tell. It happens. I get that a lot from people. But yeah, he was really disappointed in me and like made me like played song after song and showed me like videos.
Oh,
Did you watch
all sorts of
Geodesique?
stuff. I don't think so.
No, you
Did you
definitely
guys?
Okay, no. I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Did you go back and watch the HBO episodes?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't
That
think
should be
so.
something.
Probably.
That should be something you do like
kidnapping
tonight.
you.
The second you wrap this up, upload that shit to the internet and then go the fuck home and do your shit.
Immediately.
Is it Pavich or Pavich?
Well,
Pavich?
no, it's like a bear's paw. Some people say it Pavich or Povich, and I don't give a shit. I don't care because we all know what they mean. So like when people go, well, so where's your daughter McKinley at? I never correct them. I never, because I know who they meant. They meant Kinley, and most people just, they round up to McKinley, and I just go, why do I want to waste calories? Because here's what happens. I then go, it's Kinley, and they go, shut up. I always thought it was McKinley. What? I'm so sorry. Oh my God. And now I'm stuck in 45 seconds of purgatory of me having to goddamn correct him, and I just don't. I don't have time.
Now you have to have that conversation repeatedly.
Yeah, all the time.
That's horrible.
All the time. Yeah.
So as you have guessed, we have Rudy Pavich and Kendra Alaura with us today. We're really excited. This is a special episode. We've got two awesome people here. So we're gonna jump in.
I just want to point out that I am the one who suggested that Kendra join us on this, and don't roll your eyes because
I didn't roll my eyes.
Because here's the deal.
Vomited.
Because here's the deal. Your eyes vomited.
No, I vomited, not my eyes.
Oh.
Pay attention.
Oh. But maybe you should have let me finish because I knew that I wouldn't be able to hold this interview on my own.
Oh,
that you.
I can't swear on this, can I?
Yeah, you can.
That
I can?
you.
Yeah, why not?
Oh,
We're
so
adults.
many swear words are coming out now.
Dude, seriously, it takes everything in
Can
me
I
to
sit on
not
the other end
be
of the table
every
away
other
from him?
word. I mean, if you want to. You can go anywhere in this room that mic will reach.
Hey, by the way, real quick, does anybody notice that libraries are not quiet anymore?
Yeah, not at all.
They're not quiet anymore. No, they used to be really quiet. And then about 3 years ago, I had made a documentary about my dad, and I brought it up to northern Minnesota to show him. And I went to the city of Hibbing, and we went to the library to go get their projector to bring it back to the Memorial Building Theater so I could screen the movie for him.
Yeah.
And the librarians were loud as hell, and the kids, and I was like, I remember this place when I was a child. First off, it is substantially smaller than what I remember it being as a kid. Because you know the thing, like when you walk through your high school again when you're 27, and you're like, how the hell is this place so tiny?
Yeah.
You grew.
And all the kids
2
are
inches.
tiny.
Yeah, and all the everybody was so loud, and I was so just floored by it. I'm like, that's how we've known that we've lost our way as a society, by how loud the library is.
That was the turning point.
That was the turning point for me. I knew it.
That's how you measure. Oh.
Yeah.
It's an interesting observation.
Yeah. Anyway. On with the podcast.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump in with a couple of our random, unnecessary but fun questions. So to both of you,
Okay.
answer as you will. What's the most heartwarming thing that you have ever seen?
Oh man, there's so many over the last, especially with like the advent of Facebook. I try not to let heartwarming things come at me via the internet. Because it's just like I'd like to see things with my own two eyes, and I don't want to like give the the easy answer of like, well, one time my daughter blah 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 blah, because I think that's kind of a cop out, and that's pretty simple. But I did see this was years ago. I was walking through a Walmart in Wisconsin, and there was a woman who was in a wheelchair, and her daughter was pushing her through the store simultaneously as another woman with her daughter, both able-bodied, were bickering over like what style of hairspray they were going to buy, and they were like having like a huge argument about it, and after it sort of like de-escalated, the woman or the girl who was pushing her mom with the wheelchair, all three of us were kind of watching this thing implode in front of us, and then the people left, and then that mother reached up and grabbed her daughter's hand and was like, I'm so glad our relationship is not like that. And I just remember thinking like, oh my God, like, like you guys are so going to be able to make it. Like you're taking in all these moments, and like, I just want to come to your family's Thanksgiving because I am ready to cash in mine. Like if we could just have like a trade draft, like if we got a trade deadline for family members, I'm going with the wheelchair lady.
Pretty nice family though.
In the cities, they're nice. So the northern parts of us are
okay. Well, the ones
weird,
you see most often,
yeah.
I guess. Anyway.
Heartwarming?
Yeah. I can't decide if I want to give you a compliment because something you did popped in my head.
No.
There's no wrong answer.
I won't. I'll hold it. I was in getting groceries and very, very late at night, and this woman had coupons, food stamps. I was kind of over here, so I wasn't sure exactly what she had, but they weren't working. Mm-hmm. And she had a ton of food, and she was going to leave completely without it. And this person that was at the register right next to her paid for the entire thing.
Oh,
it's an all right move.
Yeah.
Very cute. Yeah,
that is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's really sweet.
Very sweet. I went home with a warm heart that night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Aw. Excellent answers, you guys. I love this. Okay. A bit of a detour from that, from the heartwarming things. What is something that a ton of people are obsessed with today that you totally don't get?
Kardashians. I want them to go away forever.
No
I
way.
want them on a rocket ship, and I want them to go to Mars and just be
forever
there and never hear from them again.
See, this is where you and I don't break bread because
Bull, you do not like the Kardashians.
I'm 1,000% okay with the Kardashians.
Really?
Why?
For a couple of reasons. Number one, I think maybe not in my genre or my demographic, but I do believe that it is great that there is a place where, and especially like professional women who get up every day and have really complicated, stressful jobs, have a place to go to on e-television to turn off all the noise. They can watch that garbage television and completely turn it off they can turn off their world for 1 hour every single night, and they don't need to think about it. They don't need to, like, it's not like Neil deGrasse Tyson documentaries where they're like thinking about the cosmos. They are just watching trashy television. So I appreciate that there's a place for women at that demo that have a place to go. The second reason why I don't mind the Kardashians is not that I believe that if somebody were to give Kim Kardashian $100 million and go, what are you going to do with it? She'd go, I'm going to create jobs. They create a cottage industry of jobs just by being the Kardashians and showing up wherever they go. Because if they come to downtown Minneapolis and they book a night at a club, there are people that are showing up. That means that they are driving from the suburbs to downtown, employing the Uber drivers. There are bouncers. There are bartenders. I guarantee that if you were to go to Vegas and go, hey, ask some dude who has been slinging hooch at some bar just off the strip, how much cash that guy make a night? And you go, that guy makes about $900. And you go, well, what about the night that Kendra Kardashian, is her name Kendra? Kyle?
I don't think
know.
so.
Tell me.
Kendra.
Yeah.
You're just trying to insult me in every way
No.
possible.
But the night that her ex-husband comes in here and it's been promoted that he is showing up to party, how much money does that bartender make? And that guy goes, I make like $2,000 a night. I go, dude, I'm totally cool with the Kardashians. I don't agree with it. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to go into that world. I don't think anybody, if you haven't sought it out yet, don't go and find it. However, if you are in that world, feel free to keep on keeping on. I'm totally okay with it. So yeah. So that's what I don't get. I don't get why people don't get the Kardashians. That's the thing that I don't. It's easy to crap on.
I also
them.
don't get sushi.
Me either.
I hate
Yeah, me either.
know this about me.
Too much rice.
I
Too much
hate
goddamn
sushi.
rice. Can we get rid of it? It's a lot of white rice on there. Like sashimi, like I just
the
buy it,
only
I get the
thing I like
top
about
off, and then I just
I hate
throw the
all
rest
of
in the
it.
gutter for the rats.
Yeah, I can't do sushi either.
Yeah.
Well, now that I sound like an asshole.
There you go.
Okay, well let's move over into what is a random and silly talent that you have, and then we'll go into the film stuff.
Yeah.
The reason we're here.
Random silly talent. I don't know. I just taught myself how to juggle recently, which isn't random or silly. But at some point I was like, I gotta find something new in life that I don't know what to do. And I always look at dudes who can juggle, and I'm like, man, it's here's the thing about the guys who like play like 2.5 chords of guitar and then sit around campfires and then bug the crap out of everybody because like they get really people just get frustrated because you're like, I know you're trying to get laid right now, but you are not. You're not doing. Can we just put on the Bluetooth because you are not doing any of us a favor right now. But I always like the guy who's like, you're at a party and you're standing in the kitchen and there's like a pile of oranges or something, and the guy's just like, oh, don't mind if I do, blah, 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 you know? And not like I need that guy to be like juggling oranges and flaming chainsaws. Just a couple of oranges just to kind of break the ice and be like, yeah, I taught myself how to do that. And I like the guys who do it later in life too.
Like juggling oranges.
Is that what you juggle? Oranges?
I actually went out to there's a place in the Mall of America in Bloomington that they sell specifically juggling equipment. In fact, you and I were there the other day, remember? And that guy was like, I asked how much the bowling pin was.
It was like $30 for one pin.
And
He was like, it's German, so it's made really well.
It's German engineered by the same exact
premium
people.
bowling pin.
Plastic pin. It's just you put it in a mold, and I don't even know how it's made.
How
I
much
think
is
that's
a
how it's made.
regular bowling pin? That's my question. Like, what is that in comparison to this $30 bowling pin?
It's made by the Germans, so it's just better. That's all you need to know.
Apparently.
Yeah.
The difference is that there's a rundown bowling alley somewhere, probably on Penn Avenue, right at 62, where it meets up here in Richfield. It's just defunct that a bunch of people went in and looted one night after they shut the doors. They were supposed to have a fire sale, but a bunch of people went in and just started grabbing stuff. Which, hey, man, I get it. Catch if catch can,
He was really nice and actually listened to the guy about why it's better and why it's worth $30. And I'm like, I'm gonna go look at the games and walk away. And then I made a joke about. Of course, it's well made because it's German and I'm German, and I just thought I made a funny joke, and he didn't laugh at me at all. I was like, okay, all right. That's one of my really good talents, is just being really awkward all the time when I'm trying to be funny.
Me too.
It doesn't work, and I'm like,
Yep. 100% of the time.
Talk about cottage industry, right?
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah, yeah.
All right. Random silly talent.
Silly? I don't know. I'm really good at making Halloween costumes, and I love it,
Dude.
I've made
cool.
some really cool costumes that I still have, and I almost glued my hand into one of them, and I thought I was going to have to go to the emergency room because I was making Furiosa one year, and I was making her mechanical hand and trying to do my own kind of version because I don't have a green screen. And
real quick, just so I can get a mental image, who is Furiosa?
Ooh.
Don't. Come on now. There's a lot of people that don't know it. I'm a 37-year-old dad. What do you expect?
You fucking talking about Tenacious D. You know who Mad Max is?
Fury
you ever seen that
Road.
movie?
Fury Road.
Oh, Fury Road. Oh, it was a great movie. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So
Charlize Theron's character.
Oh, okay,
Furiosa.
right on. Okay, all right.
And I've seen your
badass
costume.
character
It's
in the movie.
great.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
great,
who I
great
want to
movie.
be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I love her.
The goal.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the hardcore goal.
Yes.
Anyway, she.
Are you sure, like, Ma Cleaver isn't?
I'm gonna move so far away from you really soon. I did a really good job on it. I still have the whole costume. I've made Poison Ivy. I made Dana Scully because I'm obsessed. And
Who's
every
Dana Scully?
you are doing
I know
that
who
just
that
to
is.
piss me
I
off.
know now, yes.
Yeah, I really like making Halloween costumes. And I've ruined a lot of my own skin and clothing making them, but it's really fun. I had to take a knife and like kind of cut myself out of the hand, but it turned out really
geez.
cool. I can hold a beer with it. So
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's a really cool talent.
I it costs money and it's fun, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's it.
Okay, so transitioning into the reason that we're all actually here. First off, how do you two know each other? You guys are like best buds at this point.
Are we?
How did that happen? You seem like
I don't really like
from the
him.
last 5 minutes. I'm assuming you guys are like BFFs for life. So
we
how did that happen?
Well, we ended up having to go to court together, and a judge has made this court order that we stay together for a no term, less than 36 months.
Kendra seems bewildered by that.
Yeah,
I don't know who he's talking about, but it is not. This is a delusion that Rudy likes. This is a fantasy.
I think he's
that
saying that he's
he
leasing you.
has.
No,
Well,
this
I think
is
that's
court ordered,
fucking
yeah.
just be like, oh yeah, I'll offer up Kendra.
No, anytime.
That
Kendra
happened.
can come.
Yeah, no. Anytime that we're on government soil, they take the shackles off. But now they're
could
like,
never
it's
be
totally
owned.
cool. Yeah.
Yes,
And by the way, Jesus Christ, I'm throwing out a whole story, and you're just like, that is not how it happened. I'm like,
I want to hear the rest. Let me hear the rest of this incredibly interesting story about why we know each other.
well, you cyberbullied me, and I sued you. But at the same time, they went back and read some tweets of mine that I had retweeted by James Gunn, and come to find out, next thing you know, the court has ordered that you and I spend the next 36 months side by side. Don't get me wrong,
It's going to
I'm
be
not
the
happy
worst
about it either.
time
Okay?
of my life. Yeah, I know it's
Anyway,
terrible.
no. So Kendra and I actually first met a few years ago. We did a movie together 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We did a movie together called Night at the Late Night. That was it was sort of like a throwback to zombie films.
Ooh.
And it was fun. We met. I kind of like all my scenes were shot later in the day or like later at night, so I'd show up on set like around like 9 o'clock. But then because I have to work at 2:50 in the morning, I would shoot until like midnight and then run back to the house or get in my car and then sleep in the parking lot of my work and then get up and go in and do the show. I do.
I don't know where he gets the energy from, where he stores it. I have no idea. I didn't know this, that you were sleeping in your car.
Yes.
In the park.
Well, it was only for like. Well, here's the thing. I don't like, especially for actors, I don't like the fact that sometimes we can all just be giant. Pardon my French, but we can be giant pussies sometimes, and I don't mind the fact that you need to be.
Said, fuck, asshole.
Yeah,
and
totally
pussy.
cool.
Yeah, I know, but it's one thing. It's one thing to say it, but it's one thing to call an entire group of people pussies.
An entire.
So-
Let me be nice for a second.
I think we forget that we kind of have to push ourselves for certain things, and we all kind of like get frumpy and angry about the fact that our schedules get put out because we have to be on set or because they're going to shoot until they said we're going to be here until 8 and it's 1:30 a.m. and it's like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, if you were to
until you get what
yeah,
you need.
Yeah.
if you're going to be on a major shoot with a huge budget,
Yeah.
listen, they might tell you it's 8 o'clock, but dude, you might shoot until the sun comes up.
Do you want to be professional, or do you want to just do this as a hobby?
Yeah.
Like,
So-
Exactly.
what do
I think,
you?
is
What
this
is your goal
important
here?
to
Because
you?
if you want to just do this as a hobby, then get the fuck out.
Yeah, it's,
Right.
it's
But-
part of it. Yeah, trust me, I'm sure like every cop wants to be the guy who just saves the day, but sometimes he gets a bunch of skateboard kids
punks
who
that
are
you
like
talk to.
throwing eggs at their car. It's part of the gig. It's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
you want to go out and do it, but it's just part of the gig. So,
Yeah.
so we really, our only interactions were sort of like in between.
I got to be mean to you. Actually, I got to. You corrected me, and because his character's nickname was the Fire, and my character was this hard ass veteran server who doesn't take any shit, and he's the delivery guy and super eccentric and nuts, and his name is Kyle. And so I was like, here you go, Kyle. He's like, it's a Fire. I'm like, yeah, sure. That's like the only interaction we have in the entire thing.
So yeah, we just kind of got to know each other just from chatting in between takes and just when we had a little bit of downtime. And then Kendra was nice enough. We had, ran into each other in some inner circles and knew each other through mutual friends. And then last winter, I had no projects going on, and nothing cooking, and I was just at the time I was either writing or I was doing some stuff, and Kendra had just like called me out of the blue and said, I got a role if you want it. You can meet this guy named Alan, and Kendra was nice enough to introduce the two of us, and we ended up doing this film together.
I offered him up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So she offered up my services. Hence, don't get me wrong, that was Exhibit D in the court case about how my time is not valuable to Kendra. Trust me, we talked about it. We ended up shooting this Z-Fest film together called Clarkson Seed, and
That was fun.
that was a fun one, and I really thought I never get a chance to do drama because I'm always just sort of like cast in these things where it's like, they're like, we need a short, funny sidekick. grab the dude who can grow a beard in like less than 4 minutes. Grab that
Ken,
guy.
it's weird.
Yeah. So
That should have been your weird talent.
yeah, you're right. Yeah. So we ended up spending 2 nights together on set down at Clarkson Seed. We shot it in southern Minnesota, and that's kind of like where our,
2 nights or was it just one?
I think I did. I know I was down there like 3 or 4 nights. I thought you were on for 2, but maybe not.
No,
maybe
because
just
we
one.
only shot one night.
Yeah, so
'Cause
talk
we only
about
had one scene.
Yeah, so talk about not being pussies for actors, because we shot. So those guys were like, I get up at 2:50 every morning to go to work. So
Yeah, and we didn't start shooting until 10:30.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So and we had
Yeah.
been shooting. I left work that afternoon at like noon. Drove down about an hour and a half away. Started shooting. We started shooting Kendra's and mine scene at like 10:30. It was finally like 1 o'clock, and I'm like, I gotta go home. Drove an hour and a half back to my house.
I was so worried about you.
Hopped in bed for like 45 minutes, then got back up, grabbed a cup of coffee, and then went to work. Which, don't get me wrong, in that moment, it really does suck. It's terrible. And you're like, I can't believe I'm doing this to myself. However, 12 and a half hours later, I finally got to get home, and I jumped into bed, and I took a nice little nap, and I got my daughter.
3-day
and then
nap.
her and I hung out. And then 6 weeks later, we're all sitting at Z-Fest watching this great piece of art up on stage, and I'm like, yeah, I know
was
it.
good.
It's a great film, and I'm like, I know it sucked for that,
That
36 hours, but damn, like if we didn't put out a really nice piece of film, and I felt really good about it, and I'm like, it's totally worth having to put yourself out sometimes, and I get really frustrated when I see that. Now, when I shoot things, I shoot it as fast as possible because I'm always like,
it wasn't super fast on that.
no, not that one. Yeah,
No.
because I'm
That's
always
fine.
like, people don't want to be put out. They have other stuff they want to get done. They want to be here. Kendra's, kind of an anomaly because we'll go. We're gonna shoot for 8 hours, and then she goes, I think we can shoot it in 10. And you're like,
What?
You're like,
When have I done this?
You're like, well, wait a minute.
I don't know who the hell you're talking about.
Most
actors.
actors will go, do you think we could shoot it in like 4.5? But Kendra's like, well,
I like being
how
on
about
set.
we take our time and we get this thing right?
Well,
So-
except for that night, I was like, do all of his stuff first. I'm going to sit over here and eat some pizza, but I want him to
Yeah.
get all of his stuff done because it is late. Anyway, so that's how we know each other.
yeah.
Nice.
And now I have to spend 36 months with him, apparently.
That's brutal, man.
Yeah.
Well, she got the nice end of the deal because she gets the fluffy end of the handcuffs, and guess who
I
just
do?
has straight steel just straight up on his ankle. Thank you very much. Do you know how bad it chafes? Got to get some Lubriderm.
Pussy.
Speaking of which. So, Rudy, I know we only have you for a little bit, for a few more minutes.
This is the one time where I can be like, I got a hard out, and I really do have a hard out. Like,
Okay.
I need this
Totally
happen.
fine.
Yeah.
So you do all sorts of things, like creatively. Like you're a musician, you're on the radio, you're an actor. Like how? I'm going to throw out a couple questions. I'm going to let you just gradually answer all of them however you want to.
Okay.
How did you get starting into acting? And like how do all of those kind of creative outlets combine in your life? And like how do they maybe help each other or fight each other?
It's funny because most people will tell you, and I do believe that this is really the case, that you should find one thing that you want to do and just focus on that and do it. My brain doesn't work that way. I wish it did. I wish that I could just be like, that's all I'm going to do is act. That's all I'm going to do is edit. That's all I'm going to do is sit down in, I'm going to sit down in Adobe After Effects and I'm going to create stuff. I wish that my brain worked that way. Unfortunately, it doesn't. I kind of got brought up at a time in radio when companies were really starting to downsize, so people were having to take on 3 or 4 different roles. Not only were you an on-air talent, but you were also a guy who had to do all the imaging. You are also the guy who had to schedule music. You had to hang banners. You had to do all these things. So when I got into acting, it was almost like natural for me to just go, okay, well, I'm doing this, but what are the other 3 or 4 jobs I'm supposed to be doing? And they're like, what? What do you mean? Like, you're only supposed to have one job. And I'm like, no. Everyone's supposed to have 3 or 4 things. And they're like, no, nobody does. Most people just act. Most people just edit. Most people just do sound. And I'm like, that is ridiculous. So
I'm gonna write and edit and
Everything.
music and juggle oranges and
I'm gonna do it all.
Where's my $30 bullet pen?
So I do believe that I think all of the things that I do, like edit or write or act or all of that, run at about 80%. I wish I could get one of them to be 100%, but I think they all run about 80%. And it's just because I found so many things that I'm super not only passionate, but curious about. Like I find...
Yeah, but you can tell that all of the things that you do that you're really passionate about don't seem like they're at 80%. They all are really well done.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to. I learned the hard way when I was 27. I had worked specifically for one goal in my life, and that was to be on afternoon radio in Minneapolis. And then the second I got that job, it was like I walked into the studio that day, and I remember putting the headphones on and just going, "This can't be it. Like what the hell, man?" Like my thought was, I will work tirelessly until I get that job, and then after I get that job, well, then I'll just coast for the rest of my life. Well, I got that job, and the day I put the headphones on, I got behind the board and just went, "This can't be it," because I worked 8 years to get here, and now and I am not done yet. Like I need more creative outlets. So that's where acting came in. I knew guys who were stand-up comedians, and I started getting into some stand-up and some acting, and I was because radio became so easy for me, and I had so many people that were backing that, I just automatically assumed that, oh, well, Christ, I'll just get up on stage and people will flock to the theater to see me, right? Well, I had some decent friends that were I had a couple of friends of mine that were Minnesota Vikings players and some pro athletes and stuff. Just because of my job, they kind of want to be around. And I did a show at Acme one night, and I came up, and while I got on stage, I completely ate shit in front of not only all of my friends and family, but also a couple of pro athletes who were there, and a couple of media people, and I ate hard. It was really bad. And I just remember walking away from that and just going, oh, you're not going to be able to segue into this part of your life the same way you have everything else. You're really going to have to work at this. This is something that you just can't sort of half-assed, because people will be able to suss it out and know that you're a fraud if you do. So after kind of all that happened, after I really tanked hard in front of some people, and I'm just mentioning this one time. I mean, I'm talking like this went on for like 7 months. I was like, come on out to the show. And people are like, we've been to the show. Trust us. Like we got lawns to mow. And they were really going to mow their lawns, not just like blowing smoke up my ass. So after that, I was like, you know what, man? I think it's time that you really like hunker down and just. I set up like a little shop in my house, and I basically closed the door for like 9 months and just went, okay, whatever it is that you are going to do, you need to figure it out, and then you need to really bust your ass on it. So, when I wake up at 2:50, I could wake up at 4, and I really could and still be to work on time. Mm-hmm. But the reason why I wake up at 2:50 is because I figured out that I need to be able to pay myself first, that first hour of the day. So whatever it is, if I got lines to memorize, I'm doing it in that first hour. If I got video to edit, or I got to write, or I need to like send emails because I'm producing something, I need to do it in that first hour. I need to pay me before I pay other people, or let people make money off of me. So that just kind of like all of a sudden I look at it and I'm looking down the lineage of stuff that I do, and it's like, holy crap, man! Like you've learned how to edit, like you've become fluent, and not that I'm amazing at it, but you become fluent in the Adobe suite. Like you're good with After Effects, and you're good with all this stuff. And I know that if I really sat down, and if it's anybody, like I always hate when people go, I can't sing. And I'm like, well, can you talk? And they're like, I can talk. And then I'm like, well, then you can sing. The only difference between you and Adele is the fact that you just haven't put the time in.
Yeah.
You could become Adele if you really worked at it and you just hunkered down and did it. And I know like it seems weird, but at least you
Kendra's face.
Kendra, this is our new bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be Adele, guys.
Oh, yeah.
You really should.
This is going to happen. We're going to be Adele and Furiosa.
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The best combo.
And then you should also learn how to like install Windows. Because we're just like a ton of different stuff that you totally
install
totally
Windows.
Okay, so before you take off,
Yes.
where can people find you or contact you or see your stuff or listen to your stuff or anything?
Let's see. So I know, right? I'm
So many
terrible at
options.
this. Basically, it's like all the regular places. It's Twitter, Rudy _Pavich. It's Facebook. You can just Google that. Instagram, which basically every morning I've been posting pictures of my brand new friend.
Yeah, can you stop that, by the way? It would not leave my Facebook this morning.
Yeah.
It was killing me.
Yeah, my brand new friend, the giant spider that has spun a huge web outside my door, and it's a pregnant female, and I just refuse to get rid of it. I love seeing it every morning, and eventually, like somebody explained it, because I was thinking about calling the University of Minnesota and going, "Will you guys come with like a catcher's net and get this thing out of here or something?" But then I thought,
bomb.
yeah, I thought, screw it. I might as well just leave it. It's a mom. It's just gonna have its babies, and then the way it works.
And then there's going to be millions of them.
Well, here's the thing: is that the babies will finally realize that there's not enough food to go around, and then they're going to be like, "We like Bernie Sanders, socialism." Yeah.
He tells me to come over. He's like, Kendra, come over here. The other day, and I'm like, what? What do you need to show me? And I do not like spiders. I have a huge phobia. And I don't think he knew this at the point. Or maybe you did and you were trying to actually like freak me out. He goes, look at this thing. And I get close. It's a gigantic fucking spider.
I mean, it is easily the size of a $50, is it not?
Yeah, it's
massive.
ginormous.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. Spiders are great creatures, but just I don't want to look at them. I don't want them near me. I don't want, anyway.
So, and then just rudypavich.com. I upload, a bunch of stuff, reels and audio clips and voiceovers and stuff like that. I just got back a bunch of clips from I am the new voice of the Idaho State Fair.
What?
So I just got done doing the voiceover for that. So, if you're in Idaho and you want to, go out and eat a little bit of...
You got to go make a trip now. You got to go to the Idaho State Fair just so you can hear yourself and be like, that's me.
Awesome.
Goddamn Randy Hunter's playing there on Friday night. Can't wait. So, yeah. So I know you guys have like a pantheon of questions that you wanted to ask both of us. So I apologize. I have to get out, but I do have dad duties I have to do. But
absolutely. Yeah,
Kendra,
thank you.
We won't be done in 15 minutes. Bring her back. Kinley will sit there. She'll be nice.
She can be on too.
Yeah, she would be fun. That girl's got some opinions. She is strong. Oh my, she
love it.
intimidates me.
Yeah.
That's the kind of girl
I'll
we
tell
need
you
on here.
a quick story about my daughter and how ridiculously funny she can be sometimes. She said to me one time, we were at a birthday party, and she said, while we were at the birthday party, she goes, "Oh man, that sucks." And I'm like, "Oh damn." Okay, so we got home, and I was like, "Hey, by the way," I'm like, "I've told you many times that you can swear in front of me." Because I don't, they're just words. Like, I don't ever look at them like, I don't take somebody's words and get all angry about it because they say a certain word, if somebody were to, like, call me, midget or something like that, I wouldn't be like, that is offensive to the entire community. I'd be like, no, I'm a human. That's what I am. So nice to meet you. And so I said, hey, by the way, like, I know I've said it, if you're telling me a story about, if you're, relaying what somebody has said, or if you're telling me a story about something that happened and somebody else that you are quoting said that word, you can just tell me that word. You don't have to say, the S word. We both know it's shit. Like, you know it, I know it. Just say it. We don't need to have this barrier between us. And she goes, oh, so I can't say sucks? I'm like, no, you can. You just can't say it in front of other kids, because what happens is other kids will hear it, and then they'll say it in front of their parents, and then they'll say they got it from you, and then that comes back to me. So while we're around other people, just try not to say it. And she goes, so I can't say so I can't say that, and I probably can't say the 2 F words. And I was like, what? I was like, the 2 F words?
2?
I'm like, yeah, I kind of inquisitively went, so what do you mean by the 2 F words? And she goes, well, I can't say the big F word, and I can't say friggin'. I go, what do you, I was like, friggin'? I was like, sweetie, I said, that's super nice of you to not say that. I was like, but friggin' exists so that you don't have to say the other word. So you can, in front of adults, in reality, say the F word, but not really say the F word. If you say friggin', most people will know that you're saying.
How old is she?
So she's 10.
Okay.
And at the time she was only like 6 or 7 when this happened.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. So then she
So
says,
serious.
so I go, so she says, yeah, I can't say friggin'. And I'm like, yeah, it's totally okay. And then I hadn't ever heard her say this, but then she just stopped for a moment. She goes, yeah, that's too bad I can't say fuck. And I was like, and you drove off the road. Oh my God. I was not ready for that. I did not. Like, even like when a dad, hears her daughter having sex at the age of like 29.
Oh my God, don't even.
And they're like, yeah. And they're like, obviously they know that they do it, but they're still freaked out. But like, that was that moment where I'm like, I was not ready to have your tiny little mouth say that. So yeah. So I got to go hang out with the friggin' kid who was probably much more smarter than me.
We should interview the friggin' kid, though. I think she'd be funnier than both of us.
She would just sit
Next
here and just
time-
talk about how I smell. So,
That's okay. We can have a whole episode just on that.
Just on that.
I love it.
Right
On how you smell?
Yeah.
She has a thing.
She's got a thing.
That's how she makes
She's
it.
good.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
right on.
cute.
So awesome. Well, thank you guys for
thank
having
you
me.
so
Really good to
much.
see you. I always love hanging out with
too.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, have fun with Kendra.
Rudy bailed on us. He left.
He had to go get his daughter or something,
Yeah.
and be
Apparently
a dad.
she's
and
more important than us.
Yeah, she's so much more important. A child.
Right.
God.
She
Anyway.
probably just wants to hang out by herself anyway. God, Rudy. But we've still got Kendra here.
Hey.
So we're going to keep this party going.
Yeah.
So Kendra, how about you? What got you started into acting?
My parents, actually. My parents met. I'm from a really small town in Wisconsin called Spring Valley, and just to get an idea of how small it is, my graduating class was 52 people. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't say that.
I don't know. I don't know why you had a
I like
microphone
mouthed it,
and
yeah.
everything.
No one can see you.
Yeah. I was in a very tiny town, and luckily we have had this incredible community theater there, and the whole community is very, very supportive of it. Tiny sports town, but also everybody will go to every single show that they put on there, and they will sell out every single show. Like it's just a really good community for
great,
that.
yeah.
My dad is very big into theater, and he always has been, and so he does a lot of shows there. He was the treasurer. He did pretty much every single set. My mom was a big actor there. She did a ton of stuff. And so my whole family was just very involved in theater. And then when I was born, that's actually how they met, was they were in a show together. And, they fell in love and everything. And then they had me.
I wonder who's going to play, your mom in the movie of
In the
their life.
biopic.
Yeah.
Hint, it'll be me. So they had me, and from the moment I was available, I was used in every single show that they could. I was baby Jesus. That was awesome. Heck yeah. I was baby Jesus. And
A lot of responsibility.
Yeah, so much. To the fact that I was a girl as well. And so I just was always on stage. I went to a ton of theater camps, and then I was always at the theater. Since we were in a small town, it was very safe. So every time my dad would do a set or a show or a play, I would just run around downtown. I would run around the theater. I had a screwdriver in my hand at 7, and I was helping my dad build sets. I can't talk. And paint things. And I ran the costume department for a little while, and just never grew out of it. It was a part of life. So it never really left.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was fun.
So what's your favorite thing about like acting, about the process, or what you've learned over the years? Like, what do you love the most?
The humanity and psychology behind it. You really, there's no way to act without feeling, and there's no way to convince people that you're a certain character without in some form becoming that character. And the process of going through the thought process of going through what they went through and what they are going through and how they would react and how they would think. Not only do you discover things about yourself through that character, but you also get to completely and totally put on different shoes, different hats, and be someone completely different than who you are. And every character I've ever played, I've gotten to take something from that character, even if they've been evil. You get to, you learn from it. And then you learn more about the human experience, and you learn more about other people around you. And it's a wonderful learning experience.
Is there like a favorite role that you've had that's maybe just been fun or really like affected you deeply, or been challenging? Any of the above?
A recent role that I did for a play called Twisted Deaths with why can't I remember the theater I did it with? This is terrible.
Uprising?
Uprising. Thank you. You saw it. Yeah. You came to this one. I got to play a chaplain. And I'm not a very religious person at all. I have some issues with Christianity, especially today. And it was really eye-opening to delve into that character and to talk to a couple of chaplains and what that character meant, because she's gay and she's married to a woman. And in the show, she cannot come out or even pretend that she has a wife, or even say that she has a wife, because she will get, kicked out of her profession. And it gave me a new appreciation for Christianity, and it gave me a new appreciation for the people out there who truly embody the message that I believe in, that so many other people believe. And I really don't identify with any religion right now, but it was wonderful to find those people that we forget even exist anymore, that follow the message of love, acceptance, forgiveness that Jesus was trying to give. Yeah. And just that no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, that you will be forgiven and that you're human. And it was just a really loving and challenging role, and I learned so much from it. It was therapeutic in a way, but that was I miss her. I miss playing her. She's so much more calm. There was a sense of peace and tranquility in that character that I don't experience ever really in my own life. So she was fun. Very interesting part, but yeah, that was one of my favorites.
That's awesome. Being able to like play something like that and find that in yourself.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be hard too. I didn't know if I could do it because I have so much angst and anger towards modern Christians today, because I just feel that there's so much persecution when there never should be, when that's not what the religion is about. And to be able to find those people and to be able to challenge it and to meet it head on and meet my own demons head on, it was really fun.
Absolutely. So kind of going in that direction. I'm moving. I'm talking with my hands right now, you guys, and Kendra's making fun of me for it.
I can't help it.
It's just how I'm
sorry.
This should really be like a video podcast. This should not.
No, it shouldn't.
Because I do. There's so many things that happen with my hands.
It shouldn't, because I keep getting red.
So with like modern Christianity and like all these things happening, and like different movements going on today. So we've got like the Me Too movement, the Time's Up movement, all of this stuff happening, especially being not focused on, but like it's being shown in Hollywood and like the film industry. Have you seen that affect the community here as well in the film industry? And if so, how, and in a good way, in a bad way? Like what is your perception on that?
It definitely has had an effect. It took a bit, but I have noticed a significant difference in just how I am approached by male actors, directors, and casting directors, and so on and so forth. There's a hell of a lot more respect towards women. And I just have noticed that in certain roles, directors have come up to me and said, if you are uncomfortable with this, if you feel, if there's anything that you need, if there's any time where you feel threatened or uncomfortable or whatever, let me know. Like the other day, I'm in a show right now called Butt Slasher. And the very last scene, my love interest in the show, him and I have this very vicious, very funny makeout. And I know the man very, very well. And he is a gentleman. He's an incredible person, sensitive soul. And so never was there a moment where I felt uncomfortable. But the director came up to me and said, if there ever is a time where you feel very uncomfortable, I want you to know that I'm here, that you can talk to me, etc. Not only that, but unfortunately, a lot of actresses get a lot of really disgusting things happen to them, especially through Facebook. I have been asked, I can't count the number of times to pose nude for Playboy, for paid photos, for this, for that, the other thing, or, I really want this scene. To be very sexy, and there's absolutely no reason for me to take off my shirt, but they want me to take off my shirt, and I've always refused those roles. And I remember several years ago, there was a script that was going around that I was asked to be cast as, and it was rape porn, basically. And I couldn't believe what I was reading. It was just the main female character just was raped over and over and over again. Yeah. And she never defended herself. And there were plenty of times where she could have, but it was just so disgusting to me. And I have been asked, I have had several directors and photographers who I will not name go too far, and far too far, and it's just perceived as okay. Yeah. And this was, I think the last time I had something like that happen was 2 years ago, and since Me Too has come around, there have been many times where women in the community just call it out. And at first we got a lot of kickback for that. And now I've seen this very smooth transition where there aren't as many creeps out there anymore.
Yep.
I'm not getting the creepy Facebook messages anymore, and I'm not getting just hired based on looks or I used to get a lot of, gosh, you're so beautiful. Your smile is just incredible. Your eyes are so great, and your body. And I'm like, how about my acting talent?
Right.
How about what's in my head? Like, can we talk about this for a minute? Yeah. It's been a slow, I guess in 2 years isn't very slow actually, but there's been a really steady transition to this, and I'm very happy with what I've seen, because there were several times where I just felt really uncomfortable with any kind of male presence as a director or a photographer in any kind of role where they're in charge of me, or they get to direct me or get to order me around. And now I do not feel that at all. There also has been a lot of movement where females are very, very much involved in the process of actually making the movie behind the scenes, not just acting on screen to be pretty, but sorry, I have to,
which is amazing.
Someone should just put a mic on my face because I can't, I don't pay attention to where my hands are. There's just, anyway, I can't. There have been a lot of women coming out and writing and directing and casting and just doing all of these roles and a lot of good female roles too, not just the pretty girl next door, not just the hot girlfriend that gets mad, or all these stereotypical roles that were so prevalent when I moved here 6 years ago really aren't there much anymore. And it's really great to see these scripts coming out where women are more than their stereotypes, where they are actually real live women and doing things that really women do, not just having babies, not just being a secretary. It's real and wonderful, and I'm so happy that it started. So there's my long rant on that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I have noticed, like, even on Facebook and film groups and everything, there's a lot more of a strong female presence there, and a lot of, like you said, like calling people out for things like, this is not okay, and then other people are come out and be like, you know what, I experienced that
They're
too.
totally
I
right.
experienced that too, and it's amazing that that's starting to happen.
Yeah, and it at first it really sucked. I didn't think it was going to work because so many people just treated all of these women as hysterical women that were just being dramatic or intense or what have you. And it's like, no, God damn it, we have dealt with this for so long, and the amount of stories that come out and the amount of, like, I cannot name one of my girlfriends that's an actress that has not had a bad experience. And it literally took that for some men to just go, really? Like, this really happens
like,
to
this
you?
is an actual problem.
Yeah, and they and I don't think, and I don't want to insult men because there are so many good men out there.
Absolutely.
But I just think that we have been punished or said we're emotional or intense or hysterical when we act like humans and get upset about things that are upsetting.
Exactly.
And now that there's so much support for it, so many men have come around and been like, you know what? No, this isn't okay. And they're starting to stand up for women. They're starting to actually take responsibility for their own sex and say, look, the only way this is going to stop is if we actually do something too. Because for a while there, I saw a lot of men just kind of sitting and not doing things and letting the women kind of handle it. And then I have seen a steady increase in guys being just standing up, coming up to guys and online, even defending them on Facebook and just being like, dude, this isn't cool.
Yeah.
It ain't cool. It's great. I'm very, very excited to see where this is going to go.
Absolutely.
Silence. Silence.
No,
is
I can attest to that. As a filmmaker, actually, because there was a time when I made a film that was maybe 3 years ago now, 3 or 4 years ago. It had some sexual scenes in it, and there was a moment like off camera where something happened, and I took the actor aside and said, you know, this will not be tolerated.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
if it happens again, you're gone. You know,
Yeah.
I don't care about the film. I care about the people.
Yeah,
work
I
with,
will
so-
recast
Exactly.
you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
So-
and
In
that's
a heartbeat.
what, and unfortunately, that's what really needs to happen is that
Yeah.
the men need to be told by other men, this isn't okay, because those guys like that just don't listen. They
Right.
really don't until
Yeah.
they have someone that is of equal stance or equal importance, whatever, to them.
Or no one ever says anything.
Or no one ever says
And
anything.
it just keeps
And they
going
just
on
continue the
unchecked.
behavior.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that with Trump, it doesn't go backwards.
Fingers crossed, man. Oh my
Burn the
God.
building down. Burn the building down.
Speaking of actors,
Oh man.
He is not even an actor.
kills my soul. Anyway.
for favorite actors, do you have any
Oh.
inspirations or?
Oh, we're going to that. So many. I'm sorry.
Oh, how about like when you were first growing up, like when your parents got you into theater? Did you have someone you kind of admired more at that
Oh,
time?
Someone
Yeah.
like that was most influential.
My dad, and anybody who knows me knows this, but my dad got me into a show called The X-Files when I was 6 years old, because it came out when I was 6 years old. And he always had a gigantic bowl of popcorn and a gigantic glass of milk or Coke. And Minnesotan, Wisconsin, I don't know. And I always would watch movies with him in the big recliner, and we'd hang out and we'd just watch TV together. And I remember when it premiered, my mom wasn't home. No one was home. It was just me and my dad. And he goes, "All right, Kendra, well, this is kind of a scary show. So if you're too scared, you're gonna have to leave the room or go play, downstairs or something." He goes, "But, I think you'll be able to handle it. These are actors. This is make believe." And just so you know, and he was so nervous that my mother was gonna get mad at him or I was gonna freak out, but it didn't. I think because my dad wasn't scared, I wasn't scared.
Yeah.
And so that was our thing, is that because it's so many nights. It was Friday night, Sunday night, Saturday. They changed different nights for when they did it, but up until until like the 6th or 7th season, that was our thing. And I looked up to the character of Scully because she was everything that I wasn't seeing everywhere else. She was not the stereotypical woman. She was a woman of science. She was intelligent. She stood her ground, and she was an equal to her partner, and her partner also treated her like an equal as well. And so I really looked up to Scully. So then I got into the actual actress behind her, which is Gillian Anderson, who is still my number one inspiration. I am completely in love with that woman. Everything she does is flawless. Every single role she does is absolutely perfect. And I love that she's getting more recognition now, because now she's doing so much more theater, but she's been killing it on TV, just killing it over the past couple of years. So she's one of my biggest ones. Megan Mullally is another one.
Yeah.
I love her. She's a comedic genius. And of course, she's married to Nick Offerman, who's also a
Also,
comedic
yes.
genius. I love them both
They have
so
a book
much.
coming out.
I know, and I'm going to get it.
I know.
I'm too excited.
So excited.
My chest is getting red. Okay. I love them. Tom Hanks, Ian McKellen, Bumblebee, Pumpkin Patch. I love him. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, yeah.
I like to make fun of his name because I think it's funny.
He's great.
Just like the cadence of that. Kate Winslet is also a ginormous influence in my life. I think she is exquisite. She is flawless as well. I just think I have no words. I just love her.
Yes.
Everything she does, every single...
Literally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything. She embodies the character 150%. She disappears into that character, and I love any actor that they can embody a part so well that you don't recognize them is perfection to me. And I think she is her and Gillian Anderson, the epitome of perfection for me. So I'm going to use that word again, perfection.
Love it. I feel like with Kate Winslet, like even in a role that you maybe don't particularly, you're not supposed to love her in, you do.
Oh yeah.
She just makes you fall in love with that character.
Yes,
no matter what.
Googly-eyed at the screen, drooling. No one watches movies where she's in it with me because I'm awkward. She's just so good.
Tell us about Awkward.
Seriously. You're listening to this, aren't you? Then
Let's talk about Awkward.
Awkward.
I just watched What About Bob, so he's like, tell me about Strange.
I haven't watched that in so long. It's such a good movie. Oh, I'll have to watch that film.
Richard Dreyfuss is like drilling Bill Murray about God,
you haven't seen What About Bob, and then you haven't seen Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny. I don't know where to go with you.
Seriously?
Have you seen The X-Files?
We went,
oh my God!
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything.
Sorry, I blew everyone's ears out.
I wasn't going to say anything because you love it so much. I haven't. See, so here's the thing.
I'm dying on the inside.
When I was growing up, I was the opposite of you. I was afraid of like everything.
I'm still afraid of everything, though. I literally just watched it because Rudy made me.
Oh, I can't. I refuse to. I still haven't watched E.T. because I had a nightmare one night.
Sorry.
Like literally, I can't believe I'm about to.
It's because you have to watch it with a bowl of popcorn and a big glass of milk with your dad.
That's what it is. That's the issue. Damn it.
I am afraid of everything.
I had a nightmare like about E.T. when I was a kid when it first came out, and after that I was like, "Fuck that, I'm out."
Yeah, I'm done.
Peace, I'm done.
Guys, I'm out.
Exactly. And so I think the X-Files might have given me that creepy vibe, and so I just kind of stayed.
The X-Files can get really creepy.
See,
there is one episode that did stay with me as a kid where they go to I know everything about this episode. I could tell it's season 4.
Well, now I kind
where
of
they
want to
go,
watch
where
this
they,
episode.
you know what? I own every single season on Blu-ray.
So what you're saying is we're gonna get a giant bowl of popcorn.
Yeah, we will get a jug of milk and some popcorn, and we will have a
girls'
day.
night.
Yes. Oh my gosh! And I'll Google anyway. They go down to Florida, and they are investigating a monster, of course, and it is a red-eyed monster that is in the woods, and I don't know why this stupid red-eyed monster freaked me out so badly, but I actually do know because it goes into the house and it attacks the kid, but the kid sees it from the top of the stairs, and he runs down the stairs to try to get outside his house because his mom is locked outside because his monster, who's a person, I'm spoiling it for you,
That's all right.
locks the mom out of the house, and he has to run down these fucking stairs. And when I was a kid, we had this gigantic foyer, and I'm gonna say foyer because that's how it's foyer. I had to run down the stairs all the time because my mom, when I would fall asleep on the couch, she would shut off all the lights in the house, and then I had to run up the stairs in this giant. So I always thought that the red-eyed monster would be there. Anyway,
No, I feel ya. I feel ya. Do you remember? This is not relevant to this podcast, but
none
do
of
you
this has
remember
been
when
relevant. That's okay.
Jean-Benet Ramsey, when that all happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so we were kids. I don't even know how old we were, but like watching that on the news freaked me out for literally like a decade.
Still don't know.
I seriously thought that someone was going to break into my house and murder me. Every night for like a decade. I was terrified. Girl. Any sound, I was like, oh my God, it's tonight. Like, I'm not even.
If only you had been a beauty queen,
right?
With makeup and
there was
that
no way
whole
that was
case is so messed up.
Seriously,
they still don't know. They still don't know.
It's heartbreaking.
It is. It
kills
is.
me inside. Okay.
I'm going to teach my kid how to defend themselves.
See, that's
when they're
what
young.
needs to
and be
happen.
like, you're going to break the nose and you're going to double tap until they can't move.
Exactly.
That is the
nonstop.
problem.
And then as soon as they buckle over, just grab the hair and just bam right into the hardest metal surface.
Break the nose. I'm going to teach my kid this move where you just boom, and then shove the nose into their brain.
Oh yeah.
Double tap. That's the problem with every single horror film is they don't double tap. I would survive in a horror film
because you would double tap
until I would sprain my ankle running away because I have shit ankles. But
at least you would live.
I would.
Sprained ankle, but you would live.
I would live for a minute. and turn the lights on.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Okay.
there's other questions.
There are there's so many other questions.
That's okay.
We're gonna go long, and I'm okay with that. This is gonna be a special episode.
I'm having fun.
Me too.
Yeah, Rudy talks for half an hour. I get
That's
to.
true.
Yeah.
This is a double feature, really.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
it is.
Exactly.
It is.
This will be worth like 2 weeks of episodes.
Right.
It'll be awesome, guys.
It's gonna be great.
Everybody's
People are gonna
so
be listening
interested
for
in my life.
hours.
I just blew snot on the microphone. We have.
All right, clean it up.
Okay. So Kendra, what? So you've had a lot of different roles. I mean,
yeah.
and you've really spanned a lot of different genres.
I've
Is
gotten
there
lucky, yeah.
one genre in particular that you? Well, 2 questions. One genre in particular that you love doing and you just constantly get drawn to, and one genre that you maybe haven't done that you really want to try, like you want to experience it.
Huh.
Especially with like films,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Theater. I mean, theater. I've done a ton of different genres. Films. I've done a couple, but I do tend to get pigeonholed into a certain genre. No one has really written a good romantic comedy here, and I know that a lot of people are rolling their eyes at me right now. But there's so much horror here,
Yes.
and it's done well. It is done well. I will give all of my friends the props, but we have an abundance of it. I would like to see some other things. We haven't done a lot of action films here either. We haven't done a lot of that as well. And we have the talent and we have the trainers. We have an incredible community of people who know how to do stage combat, how to make it real, and how to prevent actors from hurting themselves. And I've been very lucky to work with them. But those are the 2 genres that I don't think we have enough of. And I would love to see some well-written pro-feminism romantic comedies, because the couple of romantic comedies that I've seen in the past couple of years that I've been here, there's a couple of things in there that I wasn't super happy with. I was like, this is a little... and then the action films that I've seen have also been really good, but I just don't see a lot of them.
Yeah.
At Z-Fest this year, I was really happy to see both of those come up. Amanda Day was in an action film that was incredible. It was incredible, and she was her relationship with the character was it was a lesbian relationship, and it was wonderful. And also, she got to play a character that was a badass, but didn't have to be in teeny tiny shorts and booby tops, and it was real. And they had real people come in and teach them how to do these things and teach them how to make it look real and how to not hurt themselves. And then there were a couple of romantic ones that I really liked, that were very progressive. So yeah, I would like to see those. I would like to see more of those come up, and I would like to do more of those. Action film, I am dying. I'm absolutely freaking biting at the bit. What is it? Is it nibbling at the bit?
Chomping at the bit.
Biting, nibbling, chomping.
We'll get there.
bit.
Give me a thesaurus and I'll figure it out at some point. I'm dying to do one of those. I'm also dying to do an evil villain of sorts. Oh my God, am I dying to do that? I'm looking at you. Oh my gosh. I've always played these really nice or psychologically damaged characters. I've always gotten into the girl next door. The part I did with Rudy was wonderful. But it spoke very much to who I am kind of on the inside, but I really want to do something that is so far out of who I am that it pushes me, and I want to do an evil, awful villain character that you love to hate, and I'm just kind of waiting to release that psycho. So
Absolutely.
Well, now people know.
yeah.
So
So get writing.
Yeah, come
guys.
on, writers.
My number
go.
is
since it is October,
Is it October? Yes, it is
Yes.
October, guys.
Exactly.
I'm making Halloween costumes right now.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, her hand is glued to something at this moment, as we speak, you guys.
That hand is so cool. It is still intact and it can hold a drink. Okay, I
really want to
It's my
see
greatest
this.
accomplishment.
It's
I have a
great.
photo.
Yeah.
I have a photo.
Okay, well,
We'll
I'm
post
just-
that.
We'll get it.
we'll
I'm
share
just
it,
gonna.
There you
I'm
go.
just
Yeah,
gonna
we'll post
listen to
that
you.
when our listeners
It's great
listen
though.
to this.
I've seen it.
I love
I've
it.
seen
It'll be perfect.
pictures.
I
It's
love
great.
her. Anyway,
I agree, though.
yeah.
Badass women, like, fighting
more of
and
them.
kicking ass
Yeah.
and just beating the shit out of horrible people. Yes. I am so 100% for that. I got to
totally
do
for
a
it.
fighting scene in one movie one time, in a short with Rajiv.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was such a blast.
It
getting to do
is.
that.
It's so much. The physicality of it is wonderful.
Yes.
And it's such a great workout, and you also just learn so much about your own body. Okay, sorry.
Anyway.
We move on?
No, you're good. You're good.
'Kay.
We're here for all of this, for conversation.
Okay. Okay. What?
I'm looking.
What's next on your phone?
I've been jumping around, so at this point,
That's okay.
I'm finding out.
We
what I
talked
haven't
about parts. We talked about genres.
What's Kendra, Alaura, what's next for you?
Goodness.
What is this, Hunger Games?
I'm going to overthrow the government. God, what is next for me? I'm not entirely sure. Right now, I'm just trying to focus on the success that I have had and the opportunities that I have had and the people that I've been incredibly lucky to work with and learn from. Because every film, every play is a learning experience. You always will. You are never done learning as an actor.
yeah.
You are absolutely never perfect, and you are always going to take something from a production. And I have a blast on set. I love being on set. It's my home. The theater is 100% my home, but also the film has become another part of that because it's a cousin of theater. And it's just wonderful. It shapes you as a human, and I'm trying to build on what I've already accomplished, and I'm working on the areas of my ability that I need to improve on and that I have holes in that I feel I do. Other people may not, but I am never done learning ever.
Right.
And I'm never perfect. I will never get a big ego because that is the fastest way to death is to just think you're the best. So I'm doing a lot of theater right now. Actually, I just did 3 shows in a row.
Oh, wow.
Well, my third show is going to be in a week. Actually, my third show will be done because it's October.
Yeah, how did that go?
Yeah, it went so well. It was a great character.
Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, and I've done so many short films. I am really trying to get into a feature, and I'm really trying to work on how I audition, because I still have some issues there, and I know I do. And so I'm working on improving, and I'm working on getting the bigger fish. At some point here, I'm going to have a website. But I finally have a body of work that I'm very proud of that I can put out there. So that'll be the next one here. And I'm considering getting an agent in Chicago or Los Angeles because I have a couple of actor friends who do, and they recommend it. And a friend of mine and I are thinking of getting a couple actresses together and renting like a studio in Los Angeles and just putting up like 2 bunk beds.
Yeah.
So we can have it out there and we can fly out there and we have a place to stay, and the ticket alone is cheaper than what we would spend flying out there for a single audition. So it's kind of up in the air. I'm moving a little bit slower at it, but taking one thing at a time. So I'm just hoping I can continue to build and grow and move forward.
Absolutely. That sounds amazing. I
That
love the
was.
idea.
Let's hope.
That idea, though. Yeah.
Yeah. And silence.
Finally.
What?
So
What would you like people to know most about you?
to know about me or
remember about you. Think like when they think Kendra Alaura, what do you want to pop into their head?
That I made you feel something. That I not necessarily made you change your mind, but that I may have opened your eyes to something that you did not know your eyes were closed to. One of the main things that as an actor that is so fulfilling for me is how I affect another person, how my performance can affect or heal or transform another person. I had a woman, a friend of mine. She brought her daughter to one of my last shows where I played Heather, the chaplain, and she came up to me in tears, and she said, because she was a young girl and she recently just kind of discovered that she is gay, and she came up to me in tears and said, "You made me feel that I was normal. You made me feel okay and that I was accepted." And she just thanked me for it, and I immediately started bawling. But
that is awesome.
That to me is
though.
important.
Yeah.
That is the whole reason I think that we do what we do. Because art isn't just there to be pretty. Art isn't there to just be. You're not doing this for the gratification. You're not doing this for the fame, and if you are, that sucks because you're not gonna be in it very long. If you're doing this for the right reason, and the right reason being changing someone, affecting someone, healing someone, loving someone, then that's the right reason. Then that's what you're gonna remember, and that's what you're gonna take away from the experience. And I hope that when people see my performances, that I make them feel happy, relieved, healed, normal, accepted, any of those, loved, it depends on the performance, obviously, but that's what I want people to remember and feel. So.
Absolutely. Well,
and finally, before we wrap up.
Oh, there's another final.
Where can people find your work?
Or
contact you.
You can contact me at my email, I guess. I ain't gonna give you my agents. Tanberg, TANBERGK @gmail is my email. I'm on Facebook as Kendra Alaura. I will have a website sometime soon here, but I also have a YouTube page, just Kendra Alaura. I have a goofy picture of myself with a sweater over my mouth because I never shut up. And most of my work is on there. What is allowed is on there. Unfortunately, sometimes what is a little frustrating but understandable about film is that you can't always post everything, and you can't post a lot of recent either, because a lot of the stuff on my page is over a year old, because things have to go through festivals and make the rounds and everything. So not everything's on there, but a decent amount of stuff is on there. I'm hoping to put up some more, so that's where you can contact me. It's very okay. Nice. Anyway, awkward.
You say awkward, I say awesome.
Awesome.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah,
thank you for having me. It was fun.
It was very fun.
We'll have to have you back again.
Yes.
Oh, totally.
And we'll make Rudy stay this time.
Yeah.
And we'll get Kinley in the
who
mix.
has a daughter, you
Right?
know, that they have to be a dad to?
Seriously.
It'll be Kendra Rudy Part 2.
And instead of Rudy, we'll just hand Kinley
Just
the
give
mic.
Kinley the mic. It'll be Kendra and Kinley.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. She's awesome. That kid, oh my gosh, she scares me. She is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
That's awesome, though. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll definitely have to have you guys back on.
Yeah. It'd be so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in to Film in Minnesota. We'll see you guys next time. Well, thank you for listening to our podcast.
We appreciate you joining in.
We run a show every other week.
And if you are in film and are interested in being on the show with us and being our guest, you can reach us in a few different places. We do have an email. It is filminminnesota@gmail.com, as well as on Instagram or Facebook. Our name is, believe it or not, Film in Minnesota. So thanks for joining in.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.